In the Archdiocese of Johannesburg, just like in a few other dioceses around the world, we have a course of canonization. In our case, we have a course of canonization for a married couple, Maria Domitilla Hyams and Danny George Hyams. Now, the Church calls it a course of canonization. It is not because we've already arrived at that stage of canonization. There are a few phases that we have to go through before we arrive at that stage of canonization. Now, I'm just going to give a short summary of the procedure that is followed by the Church in this case. Now, the first stage is called preliminaries. At this point, the petitioner of the course appoints a diocesan postulator. The petitioner is the person who's asking for the course to be initiated. In our case, we have three petitioners. It's Little Eden, it's St. Therese, the parish, and the Archdiocese of Johannesburg. And then the appointed postulator is Mr. Luigi Slaverio, always with the consent of the bishop, of course. Now, the postulator approaches the competent bishop to open the hearings. After that, the postulator must make a report on the reputation for sanctity and pastoral relevance of the proposed course. After that, the same postulator must present the biography of the servant of God and the list of published writings, if they exist, and witnesses. Then we will get to the second phase of the preliminaries. This second phase is called establishing the course. At this stage, the bishop decides to investigate and instruct the course from the evidence he has received already. If he decides to go ahead, he will then need to consult with the local bishops concerning the appropriateness of the course. In our case, the Archbishop of Johannesburg, Buti Tlhagale, had to consult with SACBC, Southern African Catholic Bishops Conference, concerning the appropriateness of the course. Then after that, the bishop calls on the faithful to make submissions on the course. Then, the published writings of the servant of God, if they exist, are examined by theologians. If there are unpublished and other related writings, these ones are examined by historians or archivists. Then the bishop consults with the Holy See concerning possible obstacles to the course. Now, the Holy See will give a document called nihil obstat, meaning no objection or no obstacles if they don't find any. Then the candidate is given the title, the servant of God, as we already have now in our case of Domitilla Hyams and Danny Hyams. Then the formal inquiry begins. This is an inquiry on the virtues and or martyrdom, depending on the case you're dealing with. In our case, it will be an inquiry on virtues, because the servants of God that we have are not martyrs. Then the bishop sets up an inquiry. He appoints a delegate, he appoints the promoter of justice, and he appoints the notary. The promoter of justice is the one who's going to draw up a list of questions for examination of witnesses. Then the listed witnesses and other ex officio are examined under oath. Under oath, because they must swear that they will tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Then, if necessary or opportune, witnesses from other dioceses are also examined. The bishop then makes a declaration on the question of cult of the servant of God. After this, all the copies of the records and documents are sent under seal to Rome. In the archdiocese or in the diocese will remain the original records or documents under seal, and they are retained in the diocesan archives. If the Pope then approves of the heroicity of virtues, once they receive the relevant documents, he will then issue a decree on the heroicity of virtues. Then the servants of God are now given the title Venerable. At this stage, we are then awaiting a miracle. If there is a miracle, then the diocesan inquiry on the miracle will begin. The postulator will then present preliminary reports on the miracle. Then the bishop will seek initial reactions from the people concerning that same miracle. The diocesan inquiry at this point examines all witnesses, including medical experts. And if we are talking about a cure, the person who was cured, if he's still alive, is examined to determine the permanency of the cure. Then again, all the copies of the proceedings are sent to the Holy See, to Rome. Then the originals are kept again in diocesan archives. If the miracle is approved by the Pope, then there will be a ceremony of beatification. This is where the Venerable is given the title Blessed. Then for canonization, a further miracle is required. If there is a miracle and is approved by the Pope again, then there will be a ceremony of canonization. The Blessed is now given the title Saint. In a nutshell, that is the summary of the procedure of the course of canonization.